All right, fine. I decided to do it. It's hot as I don't even know what kind of word you want to use here, but it's hot. Let me stutter a little bit. 98 degrees, almost 99. That'd be 3 times 33. So you can figure that out. Unless we playing with Celsius, and then 33 is something else. Does anybody know what 33 degrees in Celsius equals in Fahrenheit? It's definitely not 98, but so be outside. It's not. I'm not in the sun anymore. It's cooled down a little bit. I'm in a little shade, but nonetheless, it's been warm today. I had to get up here. I had to. What determines your degree? I don't know. I think it. If I really get into it, and I will, as I always do, I think it has to do with your blood viscosity and how much energy you can hold. Degrees have to do with energy charge that you can hold. Like if you had a 16 gauge wire, you can't throw too many. The amperage and wattage has to be correct, or else you're gonna burn the wire out. But if you get down to like a 10 gauge, you get down to 8 gauge, you get down to like a 1-aught wire, like it's gonna hold lots of charge, and that charge is energetic degrees. Degrees are just. It's not like. It's not the way people think of heat. Heat is not the same for people from the north as it is from the south. It's a different kind of thing. You can have negative degrees too. Imagine people that got negative degrees. I lived in places that had negative weather, but I could handle negative weather. So there must be the opposite intro. Like if you gotta get to 0 degrees Celsius or Fahrenheit, that's a really strange temperature, right? And so I think the degrees is just like how much energy you can hold within your system. Because I'm outside, it's definitely not 98 anymore, but it's up there, and I'm drinking red wine, you know, because if your blood is thin enough, the viscosity. This goes into the earliest teachings about you have to live off of where you live. You can't try to be a vegan. You can't try to be a vegetarian. You can't try to be a raw something. If you live in a cold climate, it's not possible. You'll kill yourself. You'll kill yourself. Because it has to do with blood viscosity. So your blood viscosity, depending on where you live, it determines your degree. But you could go in a degree in the other direction. You could be negative degrees. If you're in a very cold climate, you could have, you know, like think about the Aryan race, that kind of perception. A very light skin, they wear this thing, the Vikings, all of these things. They're going to sit there in negative degree temperatures, not even wearing a hat. But down here, they're going to boil to death because their blood is too thick and viscous. But the people from down here, where it's thin blood, if they went to the cold, they would die immediately. So it really has to do with the viscosity of your blood. That determines your degree, and there's no best degree. You know, like people are like, oh, there's this many degrees in Freemasonry and all this shit. Like, no, I mean, kind of, but not really, because you know, you could find a, you know, if you go to school, you get to 12th grade, you're in 12th degree. You could find 11th grade teacher that is not as smart as the student in 6th grade, because the student in 6th grade has a higher reading comprehension and math comprehension, yet they're just young enough. So you have all these variables that go into, like, what is your degree? So there's a lot more that goes into it, but I really think it has to do with blood viscosity. And so, why am I drinking red wine when it's 98 degrees outside? Because I'm not like everyone else. Let me see who's there.